Today, we're unpacking a massive puzzle. We're going to look at the fascinating, step-by-step scientific method used to actually establish communication with a completely alien species. It's really a masterclass in problem solving. Think about it. You've got two isolated beings from entirely different worlds, and they have to figure out how to talk. It's a journey that strips away literally everything we take for granted about language, forcing us to look at the raw, undeniable laws of the universe.
Okay, so let's dive right into this ultimate puzzle by putting ourselves in the airlock with our protagonist, scientist Ryland Grace. Picture this. You wake up light years from home, you step up to a dividing wall in your ship, and you realize you're separated from a highly intelligent extraterrestrial being by a simple, clear, insanely strong barrier. How do you even start a conversation when you don't share a vocal cord, let alone an alphabet?
Section 1. The anatomy of first contact. Let's look at how to overcome those physical gaps.
Right off the bat, our first massive barrier to saying hello isn't actually language at all. It's basic, fundamental anatomy. Grace observes this alien, who he affectionately names Rocky. And Rocky basically looks like a giant brownish-black spider about the size of a Labrador. He sports a pentagonal carapace, 5 legs, and 5 arms, each with 3 triangular fingers. He's wearing this dull, greenish-brown shirt with 5 armholes, but, well, there's no neck, there are no eyes, there's absolutely no mouth. Just this crusty, rock-like exterior.
So here is the absolutely crucial point. When you're faced with a creature completely lacking a face, eyes, or a mouth, how do you even begin to find common ground? We humans rely so heavily on facial expressions, making eye contact, reading lip movements to convey meaning. Without any of those biological similarities, humans and Iridians, that's the name of Rocky's species by the way, have to look way beyond biology to make any sort of connection. Moving on to Section 2, Alien Chemistry as the Universal Language.
To solve this physical barrier, the two scientists turn to the one thing that doesn't change, regardless of what planet you evolved on: the universal language of chemistry. Rocky shares these small, intricate models made of beads and strings, and Grace brilliantly deduces that these aren't just, space jewelry. They are physical molecular models. The circles of beads represent protons, and the little connector strings represent chemical bonds. For instance, Rocky slides him a model with 2 atoms, each with 8 protons connected together. Well, 8 protons means oxygen, it's O2.
But by analyzing these physical models, Grace realizes a pretty terrifying truth about his new buddy. Rocky hands over a model with a nitrogen atom attached to 3 hydrogens. Ammonia. Rocky breathes ammonia, and he lives in a pitch-black environment of blistering heat, under a staggering 29 atmospheres of pressure. To put that into perspective, a human would be instantly crushed and burned on his side of the glass, and an Iridian would completely freeze and suffocate on ours.
Section 3. Bridging the math divide and finding common numbers. Having established they absolutely cannot survive in each other's environments, they've got to figure out how to share complex, abstract ideas safely across that dividing wall. And this brings us to a massive question. How do you establish common numbers? I mean, if we humans use base 10 math, specifically because we evolved with 10 human fingers, what kind of mathematical system does a 5-armed alien use?
Grace systematically observes that Rocky has 3 of those triangular fingers per hand. When Rocky is working or communicating, he usually anchors himself and uses 2 hands to talk. That gives us 6 fingers to work with. Through a series of brilliant observations and tests, Grace actually proves that the Iridians operate entirely on a base 6 mathematical system. Literally everything they calculate is based on multiples of 6.
And this right here perfectly illustrates the scientific method in action. Grace brings an analog stopwatch right up to the glass. By synchronizing their respective clocks, Grace meticulously times the rotation of Rocky's dials. He literally does the long division on the palm of his hand to reveal that 1 Iridian second is exactly 2.366 Earth seconds. Boom! Just like that, they've established a fundamental shared unit of time.
Section 4. Seeing sound and missing light.
So with time and math established, a new, totally bizarre anomaly pops up when Grace passes Rocky a standard human tape measure through a custom-built miniature airlock. Just think about this for a second. If an alien has no eyes, how on earth do they read a clock? Rocky effortlessly reads his own clock, sure, but his is built with thick, raised numbers. When he gets the tape measure, though, he just kind of plays with it like a toy. He cannot see the high-contrast black ink printed on the tape measure.
He has no idea there are centimeters marked on it at all. So how exactly is he perceiving the world around him?
Then the aha moment strikes. Iridians use passive sonar. They see their environment using sound waves instead of electromagnetic light waves. It's kind of like how bats and dolphins use echolocation, but far, far more advanced. This perfectly explains why ink is completely invisible to them. It's just flat color that doesn't alter sound waves. And it explains why solid metal panels act exactly like clear glass windows to Rocky. Sound passes right through the metal, letting him basically see what's behind it.
Section 5. Human versus Universal Rules, or Bureaucracy versus Science.
While Grace is way out in the cosmos using the elegant, universal laws of physics to connect with an alien, we dramatically shift gears to Earth. And here, humanity is completely bogged down by its own artificial rules. In a blunt, fast-paced courtroom clash back home, an intellectual property alliance tries to sue the space mission. Their complaint? The project illegally pirated essentially every piece of copyrighted software and data on Earth to send with the astronauts. The mission commander, Strat, famously stands up in court and tells the judge she simply doesn't have time for this nonsense.
Impartially analyzing this scene, we see Strat wielding unprecedented diplomatic community. She produces international treaties and a preemptive presidential pardon to completely bypass all international patents, copyrights, and laws. She even brings in the U.S. Army to ensure she isn't held in contempt. It's a fascinating look at how preparing to save the species apparently requires entirely ditching human bureaucracy and legal red tape.
Finally, Section 6. Building a musical translator to decode alien speech.
Back in space, Grace actually relies on that very same stolen Earth software to solve the final and most complex barrier between him and Rocky: spoken language. See, Rocky doesn't speak with vowels and consonants. He speaks in musical chords. To decipher this, Grace boots up a pirated copy of Tympanum Labs' Waveform Analyzer. This software utilizes a Fourier transform. That's a highly complex mathematical tool that decomposes a messy, complex waveform into its individual constituent frequencies.
Just like an audio engineer breaking down a track, Grace uses the software to dissect Rocky's alien chords into discrete human musical notes. So an alien word literally becomes a C, an E, and a G played together. He then takes those notes, types them into a basic spreadsheet dictionary, and matches the chord to an English word. He is literally building a real-time alien translator in Microsoft Excel. How cool is that?
This explainer really captures a profound juxtaposition, right? On one hand, you have the pure, undeniable harmony of scientific laws. Math, chemistry, sound waves, successfully bridging the gap between vastly different biological life forms. And on the other hand, contrasted sharply against that, you have the chaotic, bureaucratic legal fights arbitrarily dividing humanity on Earth. It's a powerful reminder. Science connects us, while red tape divides us.
So as we leave the airlock and wrap up this explainer today, I want to leave you with a quick thought experiment. Look around, think about the basic tools sitting on your desk right now. A clock, a tape measure, a spreadsheet. If you were separated by a glass wall from a creature with no eyes and no mouth, how would you use those everyday items to say hello to the stars? Thanks for exploring this amazing scientific puzzle with me today. Stay curious,